Good morning, guys. So this tomato plant that I thought had curly top, which I showed you guys in the last video or a video before, it is not curly top. It is some sort of wilt disease, and I'm gonna try and diagnose it today. I'm not sure I'll get it right, but there are a few tests you can do to test for different kinds of wilts in tomatoes. And you'll have to forgive me, the gnats are pretty nasty right now. I did bring my face covering if it comes down to that. I've also put bug spray on. Unfortunately, I wish I didn't have to, but it's almost impossible to work out here without it. So I will get as much done as I can before I have to put this over my face. But I'm already getting bit.
Now, besides heat stress and overwatering or underwatering, there are several causes for wilt in tomatoes, such as Fusarium, Verticillium, tomato spotted wilt virus, bacterial wilt, and even nematodes can cause your plant death.
Well, that was quick. There are many different kinds of wilts that can affect tomato plants, and I'm not thinking that this is Verticillium wilt or Fusarium wilt, just because there are no V-shaped necrotic lesions on my leaves. I think it may be a bacterial wilt, and there is one way to test for southern bacterial wilt in tomatoes. And what you want to do is you want to cut off a piece of stem, preferably more low on the plant, and drop that stem in some water. And then the telltale sign of bacterial wilt is the exudates, the juice that comes out of the stem will be white from the bacteria. So we're going to try that and see if possibly I can get some sort of diagnosis on here. If not, that is okay. I'm perfectly fine with not getting a diagnosis. It's only 2 plants that were affected. So besides this plant, the one right next to it was also affected, and I have already pruned. Basically, it's just a stump now. But I did have one tomato growing on this plant, so I wanted to leave the plant growing, obviously, so that hopefully this would ripen up. Before the plants completely wilted like this, I was worried that it might spread to my other tomatoes, which is why I decided to just cut everything off of this one. And we'll see if this one ripens up. If not, I'll just make something with a green tomato. But since this plant is at the end of the row and removed from all of my healthy tomato plants, I just left it to let the disease progress and see if I could figure out what it was. And sometimes letting the disease progress is going to be your only way of identifying it. When these first started wilting, at first I thought it was curly top because the leaves were curling a little, but the purple veining didn't show up, and then the whole plant just from one day to the next completely wilted. I know it's not a water problem. I've checked my water and it's working just fine over there. The soil is moist. I even went and fertilized those plants before they just completely kicked the bucket to see if it was some sort of nutrient deficiency, but I just think I've been hit by some sort of fungal or bacterial wilt that is taking out more of my tomatoes. So we are going to snip off one of these lower stems that doesn't have any fruit on it because it's still ripening some fruit, and dunk it in a cup of water and see what happens. So I think I'm going to take this large stem right here. It's closer to the bottom, but it doesn't have any fruit like these 2 other stems do. And it is pretty wilted and already yellowing. So hopefully, if I can diagnose this as bacterial wilt, it will be obvious enough from this large stem. We got this cup of water, and we're just gonna let this guy down in here and stay for a little while. It should take a couple minutes if it does have bacterial wilt for the exudates to start coming out of this stem, but it should be milky white. Now while that's soaking, I want to tell you guys, I could, and if it bothers you this much in your garden to like not know what's wrong with your plants, you could absolutely take a sample down to your local extension office and they can diagnose it for you within hopefully a couple days to a week, and then you can actually have a solid answer about what's wrong. I could absolutely do that. My extension office is not that far away, but I'm really lazy. And I could say that I'm gonna do it, but I just won't ever go. I would rather try and diagnose it myself. If it were a problem, that was happening to all of my plants, then that would be an issue that I would want to figure out, because I can't have all my tomato plants die again this year. But it was only 2 plants that were affected, and none of the other ones seemed to be exhibiting signs. So we're gonna try this test today for bacterial wilt, and then we'll go from there.
Bacterial wilt is caused by a soil-borne bacteria whose name I cannot pronounce and thrives in high temperatures and moist soils. Initial symptoms are a wilting of the affected plant while the leaves still remain green, and the wilt comes on pretty suddenly. As the bacteria clogs the vascular system of the plant, it causes it to be unable to take up nutrients or water. There is no treatment, and eventually the plant will turn yellow, turn brown, and then die.
Alright guys, well it's been several minutes and I even stuck a second stem in the water, and I have no white sap coming out of the bottom of these stems, which is a clear diagnosis of bacterial wilt when you have it. So I'm not sure that that is what is affecting my tomato plants. So bacterial wilt is soil borne and it remains in the soil. So it's good that I don't think I have bacterial wilt in my tomatoes. It's bad because I also don't know what's wrong with my tomatoes. My second thought would be some sort of root involvement, like root knot nematodes or something that has eaten away at the roots and is causing the entire plant to wilt and die. Unfortunately, I am not going to pull up the plant to check the roots this morning because I have several tomatoes on that plant that are still ripening, and I want them to ripen so that I can eat them. So I'm pleased that it's not bacterial wilt. Disappointed because I wanted to show you guys if it was. I will put a picture of what it looks like on the screen just so you all are aware. But for now, I have no idea what's wrong with my tomatoes. It was only 2 plants and I've caught fruit coming off of the second one, which is good. It's just like, how many problems can one girl have with her tomatoes? Now, because I still don't know what's going on with this guy, I do want to keep its foliage away from this little tomato plant that I transplanted a couple weeks ago. I just don't want anything to spread. I don't know if it can spread by touch, but just to be careful, I want to save the rest of my tomatoes. So any foliage that starts creeping over here as this plant grows, I'll cut off. And as soon as these guys are completely ripe, these tomatoes right here, I will just take this whole plant out. And the same goes with any clippers that you use to cut diseased plants. You always want to wash them or wipe them down with an alcohol swab or something, just so you aren't spreading the disease further. But as for the diagnosis tool, that was all I really had for today. I'm fairly certain it's not verticillium wilt or fusarium wilt, which tend to have the same look to their tomatoes. I don't think that's it. I thought it was bacterial. Don't think that's it anymore either, so we'll have to wait until I can pull up the plant and check the roots just to be sure. And like I said, you can always get an accurate diagnosis from your local extension office. It's just not one of those things I think I'm gonna do. I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. But what I am going to do today is a different method of trellising for this tomato that has outgrown its very small piece of cattle panel. Now, because I have no desire to go to Tractor Supply and get more cattle panels, I'm going to do a hanging method where I'm going to tie a rope to these beams and just weave the main tomato stem all the way up with support of that string. I did something similar over here because these tomatoes will absolutely reach beyond the top of this. And I just got some baling wire, tied it to the trellis itself, as you can see here, and then tied it to the top of this beam. And as this tomato grows up, I will just weave the baling twine up and up and up until it reaches the top. Now, all of these tomatoes on the cattle panel trellises are all indeterminate tomatoes, which means they won't stop growing and ripen all their fruit at the same time. They will continue to produce and produce until basically they die from some sort of disease during the monsoon or in the winter when it gets too cold. So I hope they don't reach all the way to the top because I have nowhere else to go from there. Alright folks, well that is it for me this morning. I've been bit probably a million times, and my tomato work is done. Please pray for me and my tomatoes, and I will catch you guys on the next one.